Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking everything about my nose job. I made a community post, one or two posts, talking about why I was so absent, right? Like I was gone forever for the last couple weeks, and asked you guys if you wanted to hear about my journey, my experience and what I went through, and a lot of you guys said yes, so that is what we are doing today. We're going to talk about the reasons why I decided to have surgery, the surgeon that I ended up going with, the healing process, what you can expect if you are also going to get a rhinoplasty, and my final thoughts. Now keep in mind, I am only like less than 3 weeks post-op, so I still have a pretty big amount of swelling and a lot of healing to do. If you guys didn't know, when you get anything done with your nose, it can take up to over a year to fully heal. I'm gonna be inserting a lot of photos just to kind of keep it interesting and to show you guys like the process. I did consider vlogging it before I did it, but for some reason I decided against it. The reasoning why I did this, essentially, I did like a septo rhinoplasty. So I had a lot of work done on my septum, but also some tweaks to the outer appearance of my nose. And this was something that I kind of considered on like a decade ago. When I was 18, I first started noticing my nose and the crookedness of it, which is interesting because my nose wasn't actually, like, it didn't look that crooked, but it was crooked on the inside. But also I had a pretty decent like hump on the side. It wasn't the worst thing, but it was something that I noticed like 10 years ago was the first time that I was like, what's going on with my nose? But I also had much thinner lips back then, and I started to get lip filler around like when I was like 20 years old. And I found that with the lip filler, my nose didn't bother me as much, like because the bigger lips kind of balanced out my face. But then also in my early 20s, I did Accutane, and Accutane can actually make your nose look smaller. Not because it's actually doing anything to your nose, but because that like intense dose of vitamin A can like shrink the oil glands in your nose. It makes it look a bit smaller. So that kind of like pacified that desire for a long time for me. But within the last few years, I noticed that I was having a lot of issues with my nose, and I've always had a lot of problems with congestion, like so incredibly gross. And I started having these issues where I would get so dizzy, so lightheaded all the time. Like I would wake up multiple times every single night, just like gasping for breath essentially. So that led me to believe that I wasn't really breathing right. And then with the congestion as well, I started to go see different ENTs, and I had a couple of them mention that I had a very deviated septum and that I should get it fixed. I tried different like allergy medications and nasal sprays and things. I still do a lot of nasal sprays, but it helps, but it doesn't cure it for me, and it never did. But I decided that if I wanted to do the surgery, I didn't really just want to go to an ENT. Like if I was going to get the surgery, I wanted to make some changes to my nose. Like why not? And I really wanted to go with a surgeon that specialized in rhinoplasty, like just the aesthetic appearance of noses, which I think is very, very important because I actually did go to a consultation many years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. It was a long time ago. And I remember walking in, and this doctor did not specialize in nose. He was more famous for like boob jobs. Was not necessarily a red flag, but he definitely was not the right guy to be going to for my nose. And he did this kind of like AI editing like app thing for my face, and I didn't really like it. And I asked him like, can we do some tweaks? Can we do this? And he's like, this is what I can do for you. If you don't like it, get out. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate the honesty at least. And then I kind of forgot about it because I remember seeing that image and thinking that I looked so stupid. And so I kind of put it on the back burner again. But then recently I started to think, I really want to do this. So I did some more research. Of course, I went down the route of like, do I want to go to Turkey? Do I want to find a surgeon like overseas, somewhere cheaper? And after many, many hours of researching, watching vlogs of people going to Turkey and getting their nose done, I just decided that that was definitely not the route that I wanted to take. I did not want to even risk the chance of having like some swoopy Barbie nose, because the changes that I wanted to make to the outside of my nose were so minimal. Like I did not want to really change my nose at all. It was really more about breathing, really kind of straightening out the bump on the side. I did not want some major change. And every surgeon, I know that it's not that the doctors in Turkey aren't capable of doing a natural result. It's just that I think that people go there and they don't want a natural result. So they don't do it that often. I don't know. It's kind of like the signature style nose in Turkey, like the Barbie. I just didn't want to deal with it. And also I wanted to go somewhere local because of like, what if there's a complication? You go to Turkey for a week and then you go home and then you never see the doctor again. The amount of money that you'd be saving just was not really worth it to me. So I kept doing a lot of research. I really narrowed it down to a couple in Miami, in the Miami area, that I really liked. And then I found the surgeon that I ended up going with. Well, the first reason that I really liked him is because I looked at literally every single before and after photo, like that he's ever done. And there was not one nose that I looked at the result and thought that looks unnatural, that looks off. Like every single nose that he's done looked perfect, like fit their face, the best nose that you could have possibly created based off of what they started with. But what really drew me in and made me interested was he offered the surgery awake. So an awake rhinoplasty. And I did do it. I did do the surgery awake, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. Anytime I tell anyone that I did that, they're like, are you actually insane? I don't think so. It sounds a lot scarier than it actually is, but truthfully, I was not wanting to go to sleep. Like, I don't know, there's something about it that kind of freaks me out. I know it's not likely at all, but there's just so much risk for complications, and it's just like, your life is literally in the hands of these anesthesiologists. And I just thought it would be interesting. And I started to watch a lot of videos of this surgeon doing it awake and like seeing the process. And I messaged a lot of people that had it done and asked them how the experience was. And they all said it was fine. It was amazing. No pain. They would do it again. So I thought, okay, yeah, I can definitely do it. And so after hearing the results from other patients and how happy they were, I decided to book with him. I honestly did not consult with anyone else. I can't really recommend that you do that, but I felt very confident in his work and I wanted to do it awake. Like that was really, at the end of the day, the biggest like selling point for me is like, I don't want to go to sleep, and he's offering to do it awake. You get to eat breakfast. Like I just feel like the whole thing is less stressful, and this is a completely awake procedure. It's not like some people ask if it's like the twilight sedation. No, like you have full control over your body, swallowing, breathing, everything. I mean, I was literally like having a conversation with this surgeon the entire time, and his like assistant. I don't know what the official term is. I don't want to downgrade this woman by saying she's an assistant because she was so kind and amazing to me, but I just don't know what else I would call her. You go in and they put the numbing cream on your nose, and then they inject like lidocaine, I guess, to make your nose completely numb. And my experience, it was completely pain-free. I think at one point, maybe twice, I actually like fell asleep, dozed off a little just because I was so relaxed. It was a pretty long surgery too. I was surprised. I feel like you generally hear about rhinoplasties lasting like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but it took 4 hours for the surgery. He definitely was incredibly meticulous and just took his time to make a really incredible result. I felt very comfortable the whole 4 hours, even with him like chiseling, breaking the bone, all that kind of stuff, which yeah, it was a bit jarring, but there's noises, but you don't really feel anything. But yeah, that was it. 4 hours later, they iced my face for a while, and then I just got up, walked out of there, got in the car, went home. Someone had to pick me up, obviously. The surgeon was able to take some pictures of me on the table. He sent them to me, but it's not really telling of what the actual result will look like because I was pretty swollen. Even like right there on the table, I remember looking in the bathroom, like I got up after the surgery and went to the bathroom, and looking at my face, I already had some like swelling starting to come in my eyes. But over the next 5 days, which I was not expecting, I don't know, I was expecting some swelling, but I was not expecting the level of swelling that I experienced over the next 5 days. It got to a point where I like almost couldn't even open my eyes because of how swollen they were. I did also experience some pretty bad bruising, but not as bad as it could have been. Like I've seen some girls in like vlogs that I watched of people getting nose jobs where like the blood vessels in their eyes burst, their eyes are all red and things like that. I'm very happy that didn't happen for me, but I did get some pretty intense bruising. But for me, the swelling was the worst part. It was never really painful. They did prescribe like antibiotics and painkillers. I never took any of the painkillers because I never felt in pain, but it was very, very uncomfortable to be so swollen. And he didn't put any sort of like splints or packing in my nose, but I was still unable to breathe through my nose. And even a week later at the cast removal, I was still so swollen. I'm just starting to have more swelling out of my face come down, but I still have a good amount of swelling like here and in my nose too. So for the first week, even now, I'm still sleeping like almost sitting up with like a neck pillow. But I want to quickly talk about some things that I was not expecting. And I feel like I went into this pretty prepared. I watched so many videos, so many different experiences of people that had a surgery on their nose done. But I was not expecting the level of swelling that I got. But that's just so different, like on a person-to-person basis. You can't really predict that, which I thought it was weird because I generally don't bruise and swell that much. But also, something that I've never heard anyone mention in their nose job vlogs is the excessive dry mouth that you are going to get. Like, you definitely should buy some sort of dry mouth spray, which I did not do because you can't breathe through your nose. Like, you're totally a mouth breather for like a week or two. And it was so bad. I'd wake up so many times in the middle of the night just like not being able to breathe because my mouth was so dry. And that also kind of factors into low oxygen. So I was using my Apple Watch. It would tell me some nights it'd get down to like 87% of my blood oxygen, which is crazy. It kind of scared me at first, but I'm like, I looked into it and it's pretty normal. And the other thing that no one prepared me for, but everyone experiences, I'm so surprised nobody has mentioned this, is the droopy lip that you will get. Because they make the incision on, obviously, like where the nerves are on your nose, it's a combination of the nerves kind of growing back together, but also the swelling that you get under your nose. It makes it really hard to smile, to lift up your lip. And you're going to feel very, like for me, that was the hardest part because one of my biggest things about changing the appearance of my nose is I did not want to emphasize my philtrum because I already have a pretty long philtrum. And I've seen a lot of nose job videos where the girls the surgeon had to bring their nose up and it made their philtrum look longer. So that totally freaked me out because I did not want that. Luckily with my surgeon, he said, I was kind of the opposite. Actually, I needed to deproject my tip. I didn't have a droopy tip at all. So it wasn't going to make like any big difference to the front. And even now, almost 3 weeks later, I'm still having some swelling. It gets better every single day, but just hang in there. You're gonna look really crazy for a few weeks. You just have to anticipate that. And also with the cast removal, I was very prepared to hate what I looked like, because that's what everyone says. They don't recognize themselves. They think it's like a shock to the system to see yourself with a different nose. But I actually really liked my nose on the cast removal. The only thing that really bothered me was the swelling, because I get a lot of swelling. Even now, I can feel it. It's still very swollen here, and it emphasizes the smile lines that I have, and it makes me feel like an old lady. But even now, like, I don't notice my nose. The only thing I notice is the swelling here. So I really love the result. Like, it feels like it's me. Like, it's just my nose, but better, like a more just perfected version. And my lip is not fully functioning yet, but it's getting better. It's very encouraging. And I can already tell, like, the congestion that I've been experiencing most of my life is already less. Like, I feel like I can breathe pretty much fully now. My Apple Watch says I'm getting like 100% of my blood oxygen every night. And yeah, guys, I really love the results. It's exactly what I wanted. It feels like my nose. It's not swoopy. It's not Barbie-like, it's not pinched, fully functional, and I'm very excited for the rest of the healing process. And if you're curious, the surgeon that I saw is Dr. Z Face in Aventura. Everyone in their office is truly an angel on this earth. Like, everyone is so sweet and they try so hard to make you feel very comfortable and to make you feel welcome. And they answer all your questions and never make you feel like you're asking a dumb question or something, which we've all experienced that at doctors' offices. They make you feel very safe as well, especially during the surgery. They follow up with you like crazy. That was something that was surprising to me too, is the amount of follow-up appointments that they are having me do, just because, like I said, like people in Turkey are going there and they're going there for 1 week and then they're coming home and never seeing the surgeon again. They're following up at Dr. Z Face. They're following up with me like for a whole year, like every month or so. So they really care about the progress. They really care about you healing properly. It's just really nice to know that your surgeon really cares about your final results, because there's a lot out there that don't. They just want you like in and out. I'm very happy with how everything turned out. On one hand, I kind of wish that I did it sooner. But on the other hand, I'm happy that I waited until I found this surgeon. Hi guys, so it's future me. I just wanted to come in here to give an update on where things are going. I think this is maybe a few weeks after I filmed this original video. I am just about to hit my 2-month nose anniversary, which is crazy. Time is flying by, but I thought that I would pop in and kind of give you some more updates, how the recovery's been going, and if any of my thoughts have changed since filming that original video. But I think that my nose is healing absolutely incredible. The thing that really shocked me and that I was not mentally ready for was how swollen, like how much the residual swelling in my face would be. I guess just because I do content for a living, I'm always looking at my face, and just seeing any sort of difference is difficult. And it's funny because the difference wasn't even my nose. It was just the swelling that I would get here, just in the center of my face, I felt like was really fluctuating with the swelling. But over the last week, I would say it's getting much, much better. Like you can probably even see now compared to the original video that I'm starting to get more of like the shape in my face back, more of like this kind of pointy V jawline that I've always had. The only thing that I would complain about is I feel like because my swelling was so bad, I was not ready for the amount of swelling that I was going to get. Like it still blows me away. Like I just saw, there's a girl on TikTok, a really famous TikToker. What is her name? Valeria something. She lives in Miami. She actually had a revision rhinoplasty with Dr. Z. Like I didn't follow her, but it popped up on my FYP that she was getting her cast off. And then he was there, the surgeon, Dr. Z, and I was like, what? No way, that's so cool. I watched her vlog, like her nose, like a week after she got her nose job, and she, no bruising, no swelling, and that's really the result that I was expecting. But I feel like this is who I'm talking about. If you guys don't know who that is, I'm sure you do. The only thing that I've noticed really change in my face is that I feel like I kind of lost, and you're not going to be able to tell when I'm wearing makeup, but I feel like I kind of lost a little bit of volume here. Like I just feel a little gaunt. I just feel a little like sunken in compared to before, which I've always had dark circles. I've always had like a loss of volume there, but it just feels a little bit more intense. But it could still resolve. And I also felt like I had some like staining left over from the bruises. But I did get some new creams and things to try to resolve that. And I'm doing some things that the doctor recommended me to do, like hot compresses. I just have to keep reminding myself to be gentle because it is less than 2 months before the surgery. It takes up to a year to heal. I'm sure you've heard people say that a million times. The recovery for a nose job is a year. So I know that in the next few weeks, it's just gonna get better, but I'm in love with it, you guys. I really, really, really love my nose, and I'm just so happy and grateful that I went with the surgeon that I did. I'm very happy that I didn't like jump the gun years ago and just like go to the cheapest first doctor that I found because I feel like the result could have been really bad, because I think that my nose was a bit more of a difficult case. Not so much as in it's such a dramatic change, but I think that it had to be a combination of a lot of small changes and it needed to be very precise, like done in a very precise way to look natural. And I'm obsessed with it. I love it. And I'm getting so many compliments on my profile now. Like it's so fun. And I also want to point out that I noticed that my breathing is better. Now, it's not perfect. For the first month or so, I was having a lot of swelling on the inside of my nose and a lot of congestion, totally normal while the nose is healing. But I'm noticing now in the mornings that I'm not so snotty. I'm a very snotty person when I wake up because I'm allergic to coffee and I drink a lot of coffee, which is bad. But I feel like my voice is kind of changing a bit and I feel like I can breathe better, which is really the whole goal. I just can't express how happy I am. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see the nose. So it's not really that big of a difference from the front. I wish I had a video like this of the before and I could put side by side, but very minimal change from the front. And then this is the 3/4. It's just so I love it, guys. And the other side, it's just so cute. And I feel like it really fits my face. So I just wanted to do a more up-to-date check-in with the recovery. Let me know if you'd like to see one maybe even at the 6-month mark, and I can definitely do an updated video and see how things have changed, how my face has changed, because there's still swelling in my nose and it will continue to kind of refine over the next few months. I recommend 100% going to Dr. Z Face if you're looking to have really any operation on your face, but especially the nose and even revision rhinoplasties. But yeah, guys, that was just my nose job vlog. Let me know down below if you'd like to see more videos based on the surgery and the results in the future. But I appreciate you guys so much and I will see you next time. Bye.